LNG was first introduced as a marine fuel because of its ability to deal with local emissions such as SOx and NOx. This was about 20 odd years ago. I guess its adaptation was helped by the fact that it's a relatively low-cost fuel, and there was considerable industry experience in the LNG carrier fleet of using it as a fuel and operating LNG assets. More recently, the focus for the industry has been on decarbonisation, and LNG offers immediate greenhouse reductions of about up to 23% on a full life cycle well-to-wake basis. So it starts the decarbonisation process today with its fossil version, and then the green versions of LNG, the bio and synthetic versions, provide a pathway to zero emissions. In terms of methane slip, which I think you're referring to, then this is an issue that's been recognised by the industry for some time. And again, initially LNG was introduced as a marine fuel to deal with local emissions. Methane slip wasn't an issue. Now, as we say, as we can see, the focus is on decarbonisation. So the industry is increasingly focused on dealing with the issue of methane slip, as it's a very powerful greenhouse gas. But we've seen today that there are engines on the market which effectively have no methane slip, and those high-pressure diesel engines represent about 75% of the order book. So this is where the industry is moving to engines which have no methane slip. And for those technologies which still have methane slip, the low-pressure engines, we've seen the industry reduce the levels of methane slip by about 80% over the past 15 years or so. And we've seen a variety of initiatives set up to actually explicitly deal with methane slip, such as Mahumani and Greenray. And it's our view that within a few years, methane slip will not be an issue for the industry. Yes, certainly we've seen a dramatic uptake over the last, I would say, two to 3 years, maybe 4 years. So now we have about 550 LNG fuel vessels in operation, and this excludes the carrier fleet. And we have about a further 550 vessels on order. Initially, the uptake of LNG was driven by sectors such as the cruise sector, the container sector. So we see that by far and away the biggest number of LNG fuel vessels in the container sector, in the car carrier sector, so both those sectors perhaps more susceptible to sort of consumer pressure, and also in the tanker sector. But essentially we've seen LNG penetrating all major shipping sectors. Well, LNG is available in about 200 ports worldwide. There are about 50 to 60 LNG bunker vessels in operation, with a further dozen or so on order. So we've seen a rapid introduction of those called LNG bunker vessels. And I think it's important to recognise that LNG as a marine fuel leverages the underlying LNG industry infrastructure. So there's 1 billion tonnes per annum regasification capacity already available in the world. What needs to happen is that last mile infrastructure, which is happening. We see, I think, practically, there's a realisation, there's a lot of discussion about alternative fuels, but the only fuel that's available today, the only alternative fuel that's available today in quantity and at a low cost is LNG. Now, as I've mentioned, LNG can give immediate greenhouse gas reductions up to 23%, but it's still a fossil fuel. So if we're to meet our climate targets, then we need to gradually substitute that fossil LNG with greener forms of LNG, such as liquefied biomethane and liquefied e-methane. And we're seeing significant investments happening in production of those fuels today, particularly in biomethane. And again, the advantage of LNG is you can use the existing infrastructure to deliver the fuel to the ships.